love thee, O Lord, my strength. The Lord is my foundation and my refuge and my deliverer. Father, Son, and Holy Spirit, Trinity, co-essential and undivided.
In the name of the Father, and of the Son, and of the Holy Spirit, our one true God. Greetings, everybody. God bless you, and thank you for taking the time to listen to our weekly Orthodox update. Well, we get emails from people who thinking of leaving their jurisdictions, but they want to ask me, is this jurisdiction right? Should I leave this jurisdiction? It's like I'm some kind of authority to them. And so, because we have so many of these people asking me, is this jurisdiction okay? Is this church okay? Are they canonical? Are they obeying the canons? I thought we would say a list here. We are from the Russian church abroad, the only church with a small group of Greeks whom we ordained, that in 1965, when Ecumenism was trumpeted all around the world by Patriarch Athenagoras, we are the only church that wrote to the Patriarch and told him that he's made a mistake. You should not do this. You are going to hurt the church. You're going to destroy souls. But the Patriarch Athenagoras would not listen, probably because he's a Mason. And Masonry and Ecumenism go hand in hand. So finally, our Russian church, in council, pronounced a sentence over all the ecumenists and anathematized them and called them heretics. And we broke communion with all of them. That happened in 1983. Then the Russian church, being like a pillar of orthodoxy, with Metropolitan Anastasi and Metropolitan Filaret at their head, when they reposed, they made a mistake and elected Metropolitan Vitali. He wasn't as strong in the faith. And he went into communion either by hook or crook, but he's responsible because he went into communion and he was warned by me and other people that the Cyprianite group in Greece are heretical and we should not go in, or else we are going to become heretical also. But he went into communion with this guy in his coffin with his mouth open. This is Cyprian of Philly. He went into communion with him. And we, in the Russian church, throughout the years, we would see what's happening in Greece with the old calendars. Those who have not accepted the new calendar church, and we said, look at them. They're always fighting, and they're always splitting. And there's no union among them. And then we Russians, who were looking at the Greeks and shaking our heads and saying, look at these people, how come they just can't remain steadfast in the faith? And then in 1994, this Metropolitan Vitali went into communion with the Cyprianites. And then what happened to the Russian church after that? Because if you go into communion with a heretic, you become a heretic. It's not complicated. The Holy Canons say that. The Holy Fathers say that. And so the Russian church drove away the grace of God, except for us who left them because of that. And that's why we say we are the remnant of the Russian church abroad. But what happened to that Russian church who went in communion with Cyprian? They started breaking up. They started having schisms. They started fighting with each other. And so, what do we have? 5, 6 different groups? We who were laughing at the Greeks, we became a laughingstock. Because one group is called the Russian Church Abroad, ROCOR, under Hilarion. The next group, at the same time, was the Russian Church under Vitali. They split. And then they became the Russian Church under Agafangel, another group. These are bishops that split. The bishops could not remain together. Then the fourth group, the Russian Church Abroad under Tikhon. They call it, first it was Lazarus, and then it's called the Tikhonites, RTOC. And then it became the ROAC. They all split. The ones that split among themselves. So 5 or 6 groups, it's because there's no grace with them. They all mingled with that man in the coffin with his mouth open, who is an arch-ecumenist. He's the first ecumenist among the old calendarists. He gave Holy Communion to the Greeks who would come to his monastery and who were under Athenagoras, who were under Demetrius and Bartholomew, even though they were anathematized by our Russian church. And he would give them communion, mainly because he wanted their money. They came and they supported his monastery, so he gave them communion. Anyhow, this is what makes practically all of those groups illegitimate. They had other problems that caused them to be wrong, uncanonical, but most of them had connection with this arch-ecumenist Cyprian. Okay, we're starting to read canons. Canons against ecumenism should be first. And so, to prove to everybody that if you are Orthodox and belong to World Orthodoxy or any schismatic group, it's not going to profit you. And some people criticize me because they say, oh, he's so judgmental. Okay, you're not supposed to be judgmental when it comes to the private sins of people, even of clergymen. You cannot be judgmental. And we don't criticize these people because of their private shortcomings. We criticize them primarily because of their heretical and unorthodox belief. So you're not supposed to be judgmental on private sins, but you are supposed to be judgmental when it comes to the faith. Otherwise, you're going to be washed away by following someone who is not truly a bishop. So, you have to be judging whether your bishop is Orthodox or not. And one of the ways you judge your bishop is he following the canons? Well, well, the 45th canon of the Holy Apostles says, let any bishop or priest or deacon that only joins in prayer with heretics be suspended. But if he has permitted them to perform any service as clergy, let him be deposed. Okay, for the first part of this, it's obvious that all the bishops of world orthodoxy have fallen under this forbidden act of praying with heretics, because it happens every week, every month. Roman Catholics, Protestants, Hindus, you name it, Jews, Muslims, they all pray together in an ecumenical service. Just last week, we showed you how Patriarch of Georgia, his name is Eliah II. He died, and all his ecumenical buddies, Muslims, Jews, you name it, Protestants, Roman Catholics, and Orthodox heretics came to pray over him and to say goodbye to him, because this patriarch always broke this canon. He always broke this canon. Now, the second part of but if you permit them to perform any service as clergy, let him be deposed. Well, world orthodoxy, if you are baptized by a heretic, they will accept that and will just say, we're not going to baptize you because you want to convert, because you've been baptized by your Roman Catholic. You've been baptized by your Protestants. And they fall against the last part of this. They accepted the service of baptism from heretical clergy. Well, the next canon is more explicit. We order, this is canon 46, we order. So that's like the Holy Apostles are ordering. They're given an order. We order any bishop or priest that has accepted any heretic's baptism or sacrifice be deposed. For what consonance has Christ with Belial? Or what part has a believer with an unbeliever? That is so explicit. And they fall under this, world orthodoxy falls under this canon. And that's going to destroy them. That tells you that these people, your so-called bishops, are not walking according to the Orthodox teachings. So what use is it to be with them? What use is it? They're not going to save you. You're not going to be saved by living under a heretical bishop. And they're Masons to boot. All right. God give you strength. God bless you. Thank you.